Wow, oh wow, oh wow. I can't believe the season's actually done. It felt like just yesterday, just week one, just seeing the Tostitos commercial with Deion Sanders and everybody, Marshawn Lynch reading the stories. It's wow, it's gone by so far. Again, I'll say this again. Props to the NFL for getting this season through with minimum COVID cases, and just congrats to them and congrats to the Bucks. I didn't expect the Super Bowl that we saw. I didn't expect that Sunday. I did not expect that. 31-9. Yeah, that was not anything close to what I don't think nobody in here was expecting that. I think everyone thought high scoring, coming out maybe one possession more. But I don't think nobody saw a thrashing the way the Chiefs got thrashed. But but let's see how they do next year because they are the Super Bowl losers, and naturally they usually do not make the playoffs. So we will see. So how does it feel? You saw the Chiefs go in there and only drop 9 points.
I was completely shocked. To be honest, this game was exactly a replica of our game against the Bucks earlier this season, where Mahomes was getting pressured every single play, and I was getting mad at him because I felt like he could have easily made plays so much easier for himself. Instead of running back 20 yards, he just stepped up in the pocket and made a shorter throw instead of doing a whole gymnastics fair all the way in the backfield, juking out JPP, and every single lineman possible. He could have stepped up in the pocket so many times. But everybody on this Chiefs offense deserves some blame. The receivers, I don't know what they were doing. They played the worst game of their life at the worst moment. The linemen did not know how to do any sort of blocking. And the offense defense, yeah, they the refs, I'm not surprised, but even the refs did do their job correctly, which they never did. The Bucks would have still won, but JP, you can go brag about like whatever later. But the Chiefs did not come out. This was just back to back years. Mahomes underperformed in Super Bowl, and it's a different ending this year. Mainly because he isn't playing Jimmy Garoppolo; he's playing Tom Brady.
I mean, I kind of agree with that essay. It's just about like Todd Bowles had just an amazing game plan. You know, he came into the Super Bowl. He was like Tyreek Hill is not gonna get 200 yards in the first quarter. That all he did was run cover two. That's all he did and rush four. You know, he knew they didn't have those two offensive tackles, and JPP and Shaq Barrett ate. They ate Eric Fisher's replacement alive, and that was a big loss. I didn't think it was going to be that big of a loss, but Shaq Barrett and JPP came to play. Um, yeah, I did not expect them to not score a touchdown. Um, yeah, we could talk about the refs a little bit. I think they threw a lot of weird calls. In the red zone when Brady threw that pass to Mike Evans, which was uncatchable. They should have kept that in their pocket. I don't know why they do that. That was a horrible call, and I'll even accept it. But it was just a bad call. But Brady wins the seventh. That dude's inevitable. It's his first year on a different team after 20 years. No off season, no preseason, no OTAs, no nothing. His first year, I didn't expect it. As a Brady fan, I did not expect him to win the Super Bowl this year. But it's just a testament of his greatness, as simple as that. And they're gonna run it back this next year. Credit to Bruce Arians. We give him a lot of flack on this show, but you gotta tip your hat when you gotta tip your hat. You gotta give credit where credit is due. And Todd Bowles unbelievable, and yeah, it wasn't the Super Bowl that any of us expected, but it was a great season nonetheless.
Well, I still don't get my props to Aaron's, but I'll give his props to his philosophy and his coaching staff specifically. How you know I think Bruce Arians taught the NFL a really good lesson, and that is the NFL's got to start hiring black coaches. Not even black coaches, but just minority coaches. You just saw a heck of a show. Brian Leftwich dropped 31 points. Todd Bowles, I think, is the first quarterback who's actually made Patrick Mahomes look average. Like that, the last time you saw Patrick Mahomes get like thrashed like that and not score a touchdown in a game, you have to go back to like middle school football. Like that's the last time he's not scored a touchdown. And That and D line coaches. I think two of them were females too. They played a heck of a role coaching them and just playing the game. Like I respect Bruce Arians for that, and that gets big props from me. Just I don't know. The Chiefs just looked like they were just out coached. Like I don't know. They may have had some hubris and some arrogance because if you have new linemen in, why are you trying to go 5-man protection on 52% of your snaps? Like you're just asking for disaster. When I thought they were gonna go more like 12, 11 personnel, keep maybe put Sherman in as a tight end, and then have him on the left side where Eric Fisher's replacement was, and do 6-man, 7-man blocking, have like 2, 3 guys out on the route. I was not expecting them to do what they just naturally do, and I think the Chiefs just got overall humbled, and because they kind of took this season a lot like the Warriors. They were real good in the regular season, 7-3-9. They looked good until one point all their mistakes caught up to them, and finally a team cashed in on their mistakes. So, Sazi, what do you think?
Yeah, that was a really surprising game in my opinion. I did not expect that to happen. Um, I think what happened to Mahomes and the Chiefs was I feel like they got overconfident. Yeah, you could say that some of the holding calls were questionable, but if you watch the replays, if you watch all the flags they threw, most of them were justified. Those guys don't play defense. They were just holding on to Mike Evans and Gronk the whole game. Like that's not gonna cut it on the biggest stage. And then what happened to Patrick Mahomes? I hate to see that because like you could see that his team wasn't really at their best. They're missing two tackles and it showed. And I feel like this game just stressed the importance of like O line and D line. If you win in the trenches, you're gonna win the game. That's how you beat the Chiefs. I said this at the beginning of the season. Send four, step play zone, play coverage. Too high. That's what they ran all game. Box them. Um, it's crazy just to look at Brady's season, just see how he works. Like the first 12 weeks, it was like preseason for him, and then after the bye week, they just went like that was a whole different team than at the beginning of the season, and that's what the GOAT does. He gets his team prepared for when it matters most. Devin White said he was disappointed he didn't get into the Pro Bowl, but Brady told him, "We're not aiming for the Pro Bowl, we're aiming for the Super Bowl," and that's what he got. So 7 rings for the GOAT. On to next season. It's gonna be an interesting season. How about you, D?
Yeah, yeah, I agree with all of you guys, but yeah, a lot of people are saying we should give like Todd Bowles credit. Of course, we should give him credit, but the fact is that their defense is like their athletes on that defense. They can move around with the Chiefs' offense. Any mindset you can say, play cover two, play too high, rush for. Osazi doesn't even coach, and he said it at home. So I feel like we got to give more credit to the players because Devin Wright, Levante David, JPP, they're all athletes and they're different kind of. I've never seen a linebacker move that quick with Kelsey. I never seen a corner move that quick with Tyreek Hill. Like they were on it. And I can't name any other defense that can do that. Niners couldn't even hold them. And that's like the only other defense that comes to mind. Even the Ravens can't hold them. Yeah, we can do cover two and rush forward, but there's no one all I can say is Patrick Queen, but I still can't compare him to Devin White because he's not on that level yet, or Levante David. So that's just my unbiased, but Queen is better than David. But it was a good season, and I had the Bucks winning, and I enjoy this game so much. I enjoy this game so much. I've been saying it in the group because Mahomes finally felt what Lamar Jackson feels, what Russell Wilson feels, and I'm so happy that happened to him. Like I might sound very, very like bad, but I'm so happy that happened to him because look, he's been lucky. Complete team, complete O line, complete wide receivers, complete everything complete. You can name everything. He threw a pick last Super Bowl, 2 Super Bowls ago against the Niners. He threw a pick. Like I should say, Jimmy Garoppolo was on the other side. That's what they want. He threw 2 picks. The second pick was very bad. Garoppolo was on the other side. If he executed, they would have lost. Nope, they didn't execute. Punt the ball back to the Chiefs. That deep pass to Tyreek, take that away, they lose. That's what I'm saying. Luck. In my opinion, it's luck. There's no skill in that. He throws a pick. Garoppolo couldn't execute. He threw a deep pass that was magically wide open because the Niners defense was just messed up in the head. And again, I'm so happy that Mahomes had to run around like that. Cause when Lamar Jackson runs around like that, my phone starts buzzing. Oh, Lamar Jackson is this. Lamar Jackson is that. Russell Wilson, he's not good. He can't throw. He can't do nothing. Oh my gosh! But when this happens to Mahomes, they like to make memes that the O line isn't there and he's just snapping the ball himself. But that's all good. It's all good. Give Lamar those weapons. Give Lamar all of that. I guarantee you guys will see us in the Super Bowl. But I'm so happy that happened. I'm so happy for AB. I'm so happy for Brady. AB came from below. Everybody doubted him just because like what he did wrong and everything. And now he's up top. Got a touchdown pass. I'm so happy for him. Just call God. And I hope Hollywood gets a ring next season too. On to the next season. Let's just move on. Mr. Ellis, what you think about the Super Bowl?
Wow, I don't know how to follow that, JP, but I will piggyback on your Antonio Brown angle, which is to say, as a Steeler fan for a long time, I'm happy for AB that he got a ring. I'm not happy who he got it with, but I'm happy that he got it. And he definitely is a guy who put in his time. And, I think what people forget about through all the mental health challenges that he's gone through, the issues he's gone through outside of football, is how hard a worker he was in Pittsburgh and what a model worker he was and what a model he was in his early career with the fan base and what a favorite he was, And so I think for him to, come up from the bottom down below to advance to this one. I mean, he wasn't having cold nights sleeping on the floor, but he was sleeping on Tom Brady's couch. Okay. So with all that said, you got to give him credit, man. He got out the box and got in there and did it. Now, I will say this, Antonio Brown is not a guaranteed lock to go back to Tampa next year. Don't be surprised if he gets some real money somewhere else. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. And I see what Essay's already doing. And I'll save some time because I'll save some time because, of course, I would love to talk about where I think Juju's going a little bit later. So,
ooh,
Yeah, I also want to continue what JP said about luck. This is the hatred he has for Mahomes and most Ravens fans and Texans fans have for Mahomes. I understand it, but do you not understand how it's like you shouldn't really be comparing Lamar to Mahomes, saying that the weapon.
Hey, I'm not comparing, but for
Lamar
Twitter
isn't
to
as
say,
developed as Mahomes.
nah,
I understand your argument, but to say you're going to go to the Super Bowl with those weapons, Lamar is not as developed yet, and he's not even in his prime.
What? Let's move on, guys. Before I say,
you're
something
telling me Lamar is. No. Says he. Somebody back him up.
Essay, respect.
You actually believe Lamar's a developed QB right now, or does he have more time to go?
Lamar has 62 passing touchdowns with the worst wide receiver core in the
Do you
league.
answer that question? Do you believe he's as developed right now as a passer?
No, but with those weapons, anybody's going to the Super Bowl.
No.
Bro, you throw a 10-yard slant to Tyreek, it's a touchdown.
Okay, now the hatred for Mahomes is kind of extreme. We can say he's benefited from.
I give all my respect to Mahomes. No. Listen, I give all my respect to Mahomes. All those crazy passes he does, all those accomplishments he has, right? I give all of that. But the fact that people are not saying that he played an awful game irks me, because when Lamar does that,
no,
I'm not even gonna say it's okay.
That. I'm arguing that.
In the Bills game, Lamar was running around like a coward.
The Steelers had AB Bell and Big Ben for how many years and couldn't get to the Super Bowl for how long? And you're gonna come here and say the Chiefs?
Well, they only played together. In all fairness, they only played together 1.5 playoff games. So
that's true. That's true.
That is
still
that's where luck comes into, though. I think that's where luck comes into it. I think part of JP's point is that Mahomes has not had to face a lot of real adversity.
Thank you so much.
So that part I understand, but I also understand Essay's point, because I do think that Lamar has not hit his ceiling yet. And I also agree with Osezi that he would be a lot closer to that ceiling if he had some toys to play with.
Exactly. And the fact that he got so much blame in the Bills game when the snap was like 3 times the center snapped it beyond him. Like it looked like the Patriots game. And he was running around just like Mahomes was running around, but no one said anything about the O-line. All they said was Lamar can't pass, Lamar will never develop, Lamar will never do this, Lamar will never do that. So the point is, for the Baltimore Ravens, we have to win a Super Bowl with Lamar Jackson. Why? Because he's a running back to you guys and to everybody else. But when it happens to Mahomes, it's okay, because he's the face of the NFL now, just like Brady was.
It's because he is the face of the NFL.
You touch him like this, like you touch Brady, that yellow laundry comes out.
Hey, that's true though. That's true, but
it's okay. I made my point, but I'm just saying, let that happen. If that was Lamar in the Super Bowl, guys, we will be waking up with Lamar saying on Twitter, "Oh my gosh, I can't breathe," because all these people will be on him. All these people will be on him.
You can't argue with that.
Thank
But
you.
I'm gonna say this though about Lamar. I love Lamar as a person. I love Lamar as a player. But I'm gonna agree with Essay on this. I think he needs to develop his arm a little bit more. It's just how he has to play the game, you know. And but at the same time, just like what Mr. Ellis said, and just like what Osezi said, Baltimore needs to surround him with better weapons. They can't target the defense anymore. What was the point of getting Ngakwe? What was the point? Yeah, he had some good. Yeah, he had some good playoff games. He had some good playoff games, but like you could have got something. Could have got something at the wide receiver position. I don't know. I don't know. It's just I think he just needs better weapons and to go along with the offensive coordinator, just like what I think it was what J.K. Dobbins said. Baltimore has to be balanced. Has to be better balanced. You can't just run the ball the whole game. You got to pass a little bit more. Lamar has shown flashes of being a good passer. I'm not gonna say a great passer. He's shown flashes of being a really good passer. He's thrown a lot of good balls this regular season and in the playoffs. But you just have to get better.
Faison, it's hard to pass when you have to run around like Mahomes ran around.
I
And
mean,
if
yeah, I
receivers don't
know.
get open, other than Hollywood Brown in the playoffs, I don't know what else to do.
You're really over as was talking like the rest
Essay,
of
we
the
should
line is not that bad. You're acting like it's a bottom 15 in the league.
we should move on, but
It is
Essay,
not that bad of an offensive
Essay,
line. You're acting like it's like what
Essay.
ranked 20th in pass block percentage.
You're only as good as your weakest link. If you've watched the Ravens throughout the season, even the first two playoff games,
So what's Lamar's weakest link? What's his weakest part? What's his thing that's holding him back?
Lamar can get better.
Not throwing the
What man?
no, you're right. I'll answer this. Not throwing the ball holds the ball too long. That's his weakest thing, and
He needs to be
that's what
more
he's gonna
consistent
fix.
faster. And if that's the point of,
No, you're right.
I
But
agree.
again, if he's gonna run around
I'm
like he does,
saying,
hey,
watch
hey,
Ravens.
what you agreed with us that Super Bowl night when Mahomes ran like 10, 15 yards back. If that
Yeah,
was Vic, if that was Watson, if that was Lamar, they would not run 15 yards back because they'll juke in the pocket and get
yeah, they
positive
wouldn't
yards.
run all the way straight back. They would have stepped up as soon as they got the
They would
outside.
have stepped up, passed, or just run. That's what I'm trying to say. But Lamar can't even do that because everybody's clamped on him. That's what I'm trying to say. That's how bad our O line is. Compare the season that we went 14-2. Compare that O line to this. That's why I've been saying I miss Yanda so much, and I wish and I hope we can draft or sign someone almost like him or that has the ability to be like him. Because you could see that O
Well,
line. That O line, Lamar never got blitzed. Look at the Rams game. He can close his eyes and wait 10 seconds and then throw the ball. That's how insane our O line was. And that is why our Mark Ingram got 1,000 yards that season. That's why. And that's why Gus hit 900. That's why Lamar got 1,000. Because that O line was insane and that hurt us. That's why we lost. And I called it. We're not going to go to the Super Bowl till we sign another wide receiver and fix our O line. And if we don't do that, we're not. You guys won't see us in the Super Bowl next year.
These are
That's just how it's
NFL
gonna be.
players. Yeah, I can't disrespect them, but when you have Miles Boykin on the outside, you lose Marshall Yanda. Ronnie Stanley, the best left tackle in the league, goes down with an injury. You think you're gonna really put blame Lamar? You're gonna say he
Look
needs
at
to
the
develop
first
when
three games. No one rushed
come
from
on,
the left. Soon as he went out in the
come on.
Steelers game, you saw Bud Dupree. Oh my gosh, he ate us. He ate us. He ate us. And then no. TJ Watt ate us because we had to move Orlando Brown to the left because Dupree was eating us. That's how nasty the Steelers D line is too. And I hope they keep Bud Dupree because that's gonna hurt him if they don't keep him.
Unfortunately, they're going to make the wrong decision there, but we'll talk about that soon.
Let's move on, guys.
Wow. Well, first we're gonna go hit. We're gonna hit the new. We're gonna go up to Massachusetts. We're gonna hit phase on and things like. What do you think New England's gonna do? Because I mean, I've told you many times. I think what y'all should really do. I think y'all should give a call to Cleveland, trade Gilmore in the first for OBJ and Njoku, and draft Trey Lance from North Dakota State. But that's my opinion. What do you think New England should do?
We just got to get better weapons. As simple as that. I know Bill's gonna be motivated for seeing drunk Tom Brady at the Tampa Bay parade, but he has to be. I mean, and I don't like this. I don't like this narrative of Bill Belichick pushing Tom Brady out the door in New England. He plays a big part of not surrounding Tom Brady with better weapons, but it was his choice to leave. and it was the best choice for him to leave because 12 months later he won the Super Bowl. We just didn't surround him with better weapons, and it hurts me to say that because he's my favorite player of all time, and he should have stayed in New England for all of his career. But if you can't surround a 43-year-old quarterback with weapons, then he's gonna leave, and that's what he did. But yeah, for free agency or draft and stuff, this is this is Bill Belichick's time to draft better. I've given him a lot of flack for not drafting good in the first round, even though he drafted a lot of Hall of Fame players. He drafted Richard Seymour, he drafted a lot of players, Chandler Jones, even though we traded him away, which I miss him a lot because he's a great pass rusher. But it's just like, and we have to be better. We have to get better. Sign some receivers. I would like to sign. I don't think we have money for Allen Robinson, but I want him. I want him in New England. Corey Davis. I would like him there. We have the 15th pick. I don't know what we do with the 15th pick. If Justin Fields falls to us, I would like to draft him because I know he is a very talented quarterback. I know he is a Buckeye though. And I don't trust Buckeye quarterbacks in the NFL, just like how I don't trust Alabama quarterbacks. But I don't see him as a bust because he has arm strength, he has the IQ, he's a great scrambler. If he falls to us, I would love that. If Mac Jones is there, do not draft him. That is no disrespect to Mac Jones, but I just think he is a product of the Alabama system. Um, there's a lot of things that we need to work on. The defense we need to work on too, but I think the defense is gonna be I think defense is gonna be fine. I think we're gonna have some holes, but our offense is coming back. Dante Hightower, Patrick Chung, they're coming back. Yeah, just a lot of questions, but just like what Emmanuel said about the Cleveland trade, I highly doubt that's very unlikely because I haven't heard any rumors about that. I haven't heard any speculation about that, but I would like that because for Stephon Gilmore, he's almost 30. Next year, he's a free agent. Yes, he's one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. Yes, he's won us a championship. He's come up clutch time and time again. But if we trade him for a first round pick, for two first round picks, for a receiver or a tight end, I would like that. It's just a lot of holes we have in New England up there in Gillette Stadium. But this is the time to rebuild, and this is the time to get better. And now just I'm gonna go ahead to Mr. Ellis because I know Steelers have a lot of questions. I know Steelers have a lot of free agents. Steelers have Juju, Bud Dupree. Mr. Ellis, you said Juju might go somewhere. Where do you think he's heading?
Well, I got to tell you, one of my cool experiences ever at Steeler training camp was meeting T. Martin, who at the time was picked just in front of Tom Brady by the Steelers in the 2000 draft, and have an opportunity to just kind of talk with him for a minute. He was such a nice guy, we're around the same age. And then to see him go on to coach elite players at USC and that great team that they have when they beat Penn State in the Rose Bowl with Juju, obviously having the big catch there. And you got to think that there's a great connection between those two guys. And of course, the Ravens 2 steps ahead of the Steelers the last decade, evidenced again here in this situation where they pulled T. Martin in to join that staff as wide receivers coach, no less. Got to be pretty enticing for a guy like Juju. And, when you look at Juju and his brand out there, Baltimore is a great place to come in and make a huge impact, because if there's a city that needs their next Ray Lewis in terms of the community guy, I think Juju has potential to be that. Obviously, he's never going to be the player that Ray was, but he has the potential to be the community guy that Ray was. And I think for the Ravens, they need that PR to support Lamar because, in the case of Lamar, he's got a lot on his shoulders. You bring Juju in there, man, he pulls a lot of pressure off you, not just as far as a slot receiver, 81 catches in the slot this year. How many catches did the Ravens have in the slot all season would be my question of interest. And then Juju had 81. I also feel like, he's the kind of guy that him and Lamar would vibe really well. Bring in T. I mean, that to me is the missing piece if I'm looking at it, and it would really hurt to see it happen. But I just feel in my heart that it's going to happen, and that's where I'm at with this. Secondly, with the Steelers, it's so disappointing. This was the worst season. This is the worst season I can remember, and I'm just going to say that because when you start out 11-0, it's such a tease. And to end up losing 5 of 6 to end the season, I don't remember a season in my life where we went and lost 5 of 6 to end the season. In fact, I can tell you right now, there has not been one in my life where we've lost 5 out of the last 6 games in the season. It's never happened. Just like 11-0, it never happened. So how wild is that, right? But it speaks to the unevenness of the roster. It speaks to the fact that, we got some big decisions to make here, whether it's with Ben Roethlisberger, which is already an albatross, and are we going to create another albatross in TJ Watt? Because as great as TJ Watt has looked in the regular season, let's take a look at that playoff performance against Cleveland. 2 tackles, no pressures, no hurries. And oh, by the way, in the last 5 games without Bud Dupree, he did not have nearly the same impact. Unfortunately, Bud Dupree is priced out of Pittsburgh. Bud Dupree is going to get 16, 17. Bud Dupree's gone, unfortunately, because I love Bud. We invested so much in him, but Bud's gone. But at the same time, you're going to pay TJ Watt. He's going to get a Ben Roethlisberger contract. Is that what you want right now? Do you want another albatross? No, what I don't want one great player and then 2 just okay players next to him. I want 3 good players, because you see, that's how you win. You have good players and lots of them, as opposed to a couple great players and a couple guys that aren't that good. So my proposition is not only release Ben Roethlisberger, which they won't do, but trade TJ Watt when he's at the top of his market. Because this last week, he proved to us, ladies and gentlemen, that it's not about the team for him. Go look at his tweets. How many tweets are specifically about the Steelers and how many are about individual things? His Twitter is all about himself, whether it's him and his girlfriend, his college girlfriend or whatever there, his soccer player girlfriend who seems very nice in every other picture, or him just talking about why I didn't get DPOY, put a Michael Jordan tag up. At the end of the day, man, that was the day to honor the man behind me, Alan Faneca, an actual Hall of Famer, a guy who won something in his life, okay, called a Super Bowl, which you haven't sniffed, TJ. You gave up 37 points on defense in that game. Secondly, we can get something good for TJ Watt. We can get a number 1 pick, at the least a 1 and a 2, I think. And that would be way better to me, because then you save money, then you sign Hilton, then you sign Sutton, you keep that defense stacked and balanced. But we won't do it. We're going to keep Watt. We're going to keep Ben. We're going to lose Juju. And at the end of the day, we're going to lose a lot of respect from great Steeler fans around the country.
No, I agree with you, Mr. Ellis. I mean, Juju will fit very good in the Ravens, because what he does in the Pittsburgh community, I don't know if you watch his YouTube channel. I think Emmanuel and Faison does. He does very, very much. It's amazing. That's why I like him as a person too, and that's why I don't hate on him, because he's just a kid and he's just vibing. He's just doing his own thing and moving, and that's what I just love. That's why I love Lamar. That's why I love Hollywood, because they just click. And you're right. I think Juju will click with us, and. Or I see another
26
landing.
third down catches. Sorry, what are the stats? 26 of his 81 catches were on third down.
Jesus, that's what I'm saying. He's a good player and a good person, man. But I feel like he'll end up in the Jets. Sam Darnold, I think they're gonna click. I feel like he'll end up in the Jets, or he's gonna end up in the Las Vegas Raiders. I feel like those 2 will be one of the teams as well, in my opinion. I think he'll fit with the Jet system just because his QB and they click. And he said some good things about his QB too, Sam Darnold. And
Can I say why I disagree briefly with that? Can I say why I disagree briefly?
Sure.
This is going to be Juju Smith-Schuster's season 5 in the NFL, right?
Oh, yeah.
Look, man, you think he wants to play with Sam Darnold when he could play with Lamar Jackson?
You're right. Yeah.
Wide receiver's career is 8 to 10 years long, man. You're going to give 5 years, your best 5 years, to the freaking Jets? Are you really going to do that?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, maybe he will, but I don't think so. Because I think he'd stay in Pittsburgh if they believed in him, if they paid him. And I think he's put that message out there, and it didn't bite. Ben's not going to take a pay cut to keep Juju like he should. He's not going to do it.
If New York thowes him a lot of money, he can possibly go there. I think.
But I don't think Juju's that type of player. I think he does want to play on a good team.
He wants to win, man. Yeah, he's always won. He's always won his whole life. What is he going to lose for 5 years? Really? Yeah, I mean, his brand is important to him, but he wants to win.
Yeah. Then I also see. Then I guess Ravens will be a good move. Then I'll be excited if that happens. But again, there's so many other receivers. I hope we get Robinson. He's expensive, or Corey Davis, Marvin Jones, all those.
You think those guys are better than Juju? You're out of your mind if you think those guys are better than Juju. Juju's played for a bad quarterback. Robinson's massively overrated. Juju's played. I know he's played for bad QBs too. I know it. But the position you guys need is the slot, man. You need to upgrade that position. And deep threat, you got it. And Marquise, you got it.
That's true. We can keep Marquise outside if we get another slot. That's actually true.
Or you could put Marquise at the slot and bring in Allen Robinson.
Oh, bring in Allen Robinson. We can do that.
Allen
I
Robinson's
mean,
too much for us.
there's a lot of
Or
there's a lot.
Corey Davis. Corey Davis. I remember when Corey Davis got drafted.
Does he
I
block?
wanted him.
Does Corey Davis block like Juju? Does he block?
I don't know.
Just asking. I mean, is he pancake Vontez Burfict in the middle of the field?
I mean, that was purely revenge for the hit on Antonio. But
It's
I
purely
think
great
also,
all around player, is what it is. It's purely great all around player, which, in my opinion, Juju's very underrated because he's played for lousy quarterbacks the last 2 years. In my opinion, again.
Hey,
I think
it can
the
go
best
any way.
the best value at receiver. I think Juju's probably number one because he brings that. He's gonna click with your quarterback. He has that good team chemistry, and he does whatever you need of him on the field. He's a really
He
hard
did.
one to do. I
That's
used to give
true.
him a lot of hate during the season for all the dance and stuff, but like outside of that, he's just having fun, honestly. And he's
Yeah.
out of like Mr. Ellis said, I used to be so high on Allen Robinson, but honestly, he's overvaluing himself, in my opinion. Like he's a great receiver, undoubtedly, but 18 million a year, like, come on, man. Like you
Yeah.
get thrown the ball 2, 7, 8 times a game, 2 times every drive. He's a good player, but like Juju's not gonna complain. He's gonna do whatever asked of him.
Yeah. Juju's
Hopefully
not.
he comes to Baltimore, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
He actually does for it because he doesn't irk on offense. Like you tell him to do something, he won't talk
He's
back.
not gonna bug.
He's
Yeah.
just he's a kid and he's just doing his thing. Like most of the Ravens offense people do. They're just doing their thing. No one really complains, but we're gonna see what will happen. And I just hope we draft an O line as well. So that's another big thing that we do need an O lineman.
Speaking of O-line, we
Most
better make sure we give Essay some shine because we're getting close on time. We got to get you some
Oh
shine.
yeah,
We talk about O-line, and if you look at all these teams, right, what's the common factor in all these really good teams during the season that lost in the playoffs is significant losses on the O-line. And I can only imagine Essay if Bakhtiari had played, how different that game might have been because it didn't show up for a couple weeks afterwards. Like the Bears game, I thought it would show up right away. It didn't. And then it showed up when it mattered most, man. So why don't you give us a little glimpse in the future of your team and your quarterback and his lovely wife to be.
Yeah, I had no idea about that engagement news until the speech in the NFL honors. But to go back onto the O line issue, I really think if he had David Bakhtiari winning that game, or Billy Turner got beat by JPP so many times. Rogers got sacked 5 times. The whole season, I don't think there was a moment where he got sacked more than 3 times, other than the Bucks game where David Bakhtiari left early in that game too. So you can only imagine if he actually was healthy and played that game. I think we're in the Super Bowl. Billy Turner, yeah, but this offseason I really think the main key isn't really adding players, but keeping the ones we already have right now. Our roster is already, I think, good enough for a good Super Bowl run next year. But we signed Aaron Jones, we signed Lindsley on the center, and we get a good corner, whether in the draft or free agency. I think we'll be good. But I really think Rogers was not happy in the ending in that game. He was really, really pissed off, and I really hope he can continue that the season that he had last year with next year, and we continue the same momentum that we had for another Super Bowl run next year. But I really like where this team is going. I think we have a good possibility of getting Juju, which could bolster this offense a lot more. If we get Juju, I think there's really no problem with anywhere. If Devontae goes down, we have Lazard, NVS, and Juju. That's more than enough for Rodgers. What he did last season, having some of his best games with Devontae out. So I think the Packers have a good offseason, and we continue this streak next year.
For the Ravens, I mean, this is gonna be an interesting offseason. I mean, I was wrong with you, Osezi. I think Orlando will get a couple first rounders. He might get 2. I think, but if any team calls, it better be Pete Carroll first, because that Russell Wilson situations that might go south. You might get 2 franchise quarterbacks on the market if Seattle doesn't take this serious. But that has to be the first priority before anything else. Because it doesn't matter how good your weapons are if your own line can't block for Lamar to get the ball to them. They're all positions where that depend on the O line success. So it all depends there. If we draft anybody, specifically Wyatt Davis, I mean, he reminds me a lot of a young Yonder. He could really fill in that void. And we keep Bozeman at right guard, and then not right, left guard, and then we keep Stanley. issue with center. I don't know. I mean, it'll truly see how Baltimore does this off season. But if specifically receiver, like I did tell you, Osezi as well, Juju could be a nice option, or Corey Davis, one of those two. I mean, I think defense will be fine. Although we got a lot of free agents like Matt Judon, we'll let him walk. Keep Bowser, Yannick. I think we'll franchise tag him. But for us, it's Super Bowl or bust because this might be one of our best teams in a long time, since like 2013. So we just gotta make the best of it.
It's not. I wouldn't compare OC as much as 2013. I just have that O line
I mean,
rush,
like
man. Like I feel
talent
like if we
wise.
get talent wise, not on the O line, and
No, I'm
not
talking
even
about like
receiver
as a
wise.
collective group. I mean, that defense was
I
amazing.
mean,
You can't.
offensive wise, I can't compare it to 2013.
Oh no, no, no. I mean like
No.
together as a team. It's the closest thing we got since
Oh,
2013.
closest, yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't see
no,
anything
not
else. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I don't think we're gonna let Judon walk. That's my
We
thing.
will.
And I don't
He's
think
$20 million.
we're not gonna
That's
pay
too
him.
much.
And he already declined that. He's like, I'm not. He said that on Twitter.
He,
There was a
he
rumor
said he
out
doesn't want
that
20 million. Yeah, but
yeah. I don't think
16
we're gonna.
million
I
is too much.
max. I think we're gonna pay him is 17. Even though
That's too
yeah,
much.
yeah.
If
I mean
even
he's a
17 is too much.
He was
If set the
asking. He was
17,
asking for 16 last season, and he proved himself this season because he had the more
no,
sacks,
No,
the
no,
most. Yeah,
no. I'd only pay him 12 because Tyus Bowser played half and almost had the
that's
same.
true.
same
I
stats.
or we will let Judon walk, and we're gonna keep Bowser and Yannick and McPhee.
Yes,
We're
that's
gonna
what I
sign
want.
McPhee on a low contract, and that's what's gonna happen. We're gonna let Judon walk, most likely.
Man, I
Keep
mean, it was a great
Peters, keep
recap
everybody
for
else.
this. Man, it's all our best, but it's been a great week. I mean, it's been amazing doing this show with you guys, and we'll always do this down in the future, and I just can't wait for next season. Um, Congrats to the Bucks. See if they can run it back next year. But to all of our fans, we thank you so much for watching, and stay safe during COVID. I know it's not as bad as it was before, but it's still out there, and just make sure everyone's safe at home and just social distancing, wearing your mask, keeping your hands clean, and everything. We thank you guys once again for watching. This is one of my best highlights for my whole senior year, and I love doing this show with you guys every single week.
Was a true pleasure, gentlemen, and just especially speaking to having known Emmanuel, and Faze for 6 years. What an incredible journey we've had together, gentlemen, and I appreciate y'all so much. Never seen a guy win more in football than Faze. And I look at Emmanuel, and even if his team's not always winning it, he finds a way to do it in life, as you'll see with this man stepping out with these scholarship offers left and right. I also found Faison's wife, which we'll talk about another time. That said, Mr. Essay also having this. Thank you so much for joining us this year, man. You think about, last year you were popping in there at the end, just embarrassing Mr. E with your picks, and we brought you on. You just embarrassed all of us this year. So thank you for that. Great job, and obviously great future ahead for you as well, man. And looking forward, Mr. Osezi. I think about, man. You come from a great family, and with your, you know, such a pedigree, man, and your academic success, performance. And when I look at even when I was looking at your Zoom in the early part of the season, man, I see your awards up there on the wall, man. I'm like, here's a man that takes pride in his work, and that's what we're all here to do, man, is take pride in our work. So I appreciate that pride that you put into things, man. It's awesome. And then we go to JP, of course, here at the end, and you say that JB from ninth grade. JP was an interesting guy. You'd get an email every day, hey, Mr. E, what was this question? From that to, just trying to step up and just kind of show everybody who's boss in conversations he's done. So you've come such a long way, man, in terms of public speaking and being able to deliver your message. And, all these things come together, man. And, Emmanuel Faze, again, from our Banneker days together, guys, this has been a journey. And, Faizan very much too, I'll close with just such a spiritual leader, man, as well. For me as a teacher as well, your support of, things that we try to do that were crazy and different, man. It's appreciated beyond belief. And so you and Emmanuel being Banneker guys, man, it's like we lock for life, gentlemen. And that goes for all of you, all this starting five, man. Lock for life, guys. And Great work, everybody. And look, guys, we ain't disappearing yet. So don't sleep on us, as JP would say. Don't sleep on us. We'll be
Don't
back.
sleep on us. We'll be back. Maybe March
Man,
Madness, maybe for NBA. We'll be back. Y'all will
Down for
see
all
us.
of it. Down for all of it. And hence why I've transitioned to what's behind us here. You know.
Hey, Mr. Ellis, you can talk. You can talk about the starting five, but nothing is possible without you. You introduced our podcast last year, and we've been doing it ever since. And you always trying to take a step back and let us do our thing, but nothing is possible without you. So we got to shout out our. We gotta shout out our sixth man. We gotta shout out our Bill Walton of the Celtics. Nothing's possible without you. So I hope you know you. I hope you know that. I hope you know that.
Bad knees and all, bad back and all, truly honored. Thanks, everybody. Happy trails.